The first warning came at 03:47 Universal Standard Time. A faint anomaly, barely a blip on the quantum resonance grid, flickered at the edge of the Kuiper expanse, region of deep space so barren that even rogue asteroids avoided it. The signal was weak, distorted, a whisper lost in the cosmic wind. It should have been ignored. But Dr. Alara Voss, chief astrophysicist aboard the ISS Halcyon, couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. She stared at the pulsating readings on her console, her gut tightening. The signal wasn't natural. It had structure, patterns hidden within the interference. A message. She tapped her earpiece. Control, are you seeing this? A pause. Then a voice crackled through. Affirmative, Halcyon. Signal confirmed. Origin unknown. Unknown. That single word sent a chill through Alara's spine. Humanity had spent 2 centuries expanding into the void, colonizing moons, harnessing dark energy, even sending deep space probes beyond the solar frontier. They had never encountered an unknown. Until now. Can you enhance it? She asked, fingers hovering over the decryption interface. Attempting. The voice belonged to Commander Eric Dunn, mission lead for the Halcyon expedition. A pragmatic ex-Navy officer, Dunn didn't rattle easily. But Alara caught the edge of unease in his tone. Then the signal shifted. The static coalesced into something more intelligible. A frequency pattern adjusted to match human auditory perception. The speakers around the bridge hummed with an eerie resonance, like a distorted whisper pressing against the fabric of reality itself. Then came the voice. You are not alone. A silence deeper than space fell over the bridge. Alara's hands turned ice cold. Is this a transmission from one of our colonies? She asked, knowing full well it wasn't. Negative, Dunn replied, his voice uncharacteristically hollow. Origin point is outside the heliosphere. Alara's breath caught in her throat. That wasn't possible. Humanity had no ships that far out, and no species, at least, none they had discovered, should have been capable of sending a transmission directly aimed at them. The message repeated. You are not alone. And then, abruptly, the signal changed again. No longer a voice. No longer a whisper. It became coordinates. A location. Something, or someone, was calling them. And it wasn't human. The coordinates burned on the screen like an unspoken dare. Alara Voss felt the weight of the moment pressing against her chest. If these numbers were real, if something out there was guiding them, then this was a historic moment. Or a trap. Commander Eric Dunn stood rigid, arms crossed as he stared at the data stream scrolling across his personal display. His steel-gray eyes flickered with calculation, his military instincts no doubt running every scenario in his head. What's out there? He muttered, more to himself than anyone else. Alara tore her gaze from the screen and turned to the ship's AI, Calyx. Run an astronomical cross-check. Do these coordinates match anything we've charted before? The AI's voice responded, calm and clinical. Negative. These coordinates place the origin beyond the mapped boundaries of the Kuiper expanse. No known celestial bodies or artificial structures recorded. Alara swallowed. That meant 2 things. Whatever was out there, it wasn't supposed to exist, and it was waiting for them. Dunn exhaled sharply. We're not equipped for first contact. Hell, we're not even authorized to deviate from mission parameters. We can't ignore this, Alara countered, her scientist's mind already pushing aside fear in favor of the unknown. A non-human signal, broadcasting directly to us? This is exactly why we're out here. Dunn shot her a sharp glance, but before he could argue, another voice cut in. If it's bait, we take it. They turned toward the doorway, where Captain Idris Hale leaned against the bulkhead, arms crossed. Tall, with the hardened look of a man who had spent decades balancing diplomacy with the constant threat of deep space dangers, Hale had a reputation for taking calculated risks and surviving them. His dark brown eyes locked onto the screen, considering. We're at the edge of known space, people. No backup, no fleet. But if this is an intelligent species reaching out, we don't turn our backs on it. Dunn's jaw tensed, but he gave a curt nod. If we go in prepared. We scan the area first, No approach until we know what we're walking into. Hale smirked. That's why you're here, Commander. He turned to the bridge crew. Helm, plot an approach vector. We move at half thrust and keep our stealth plating active. I don't want anything knowing we're coming before we know what it is. The crew snapped into action. Within minutes, the ISS Halcyon pivoted, its dark matter engines humming to life. The ship slipped forward into the abyss, following the phantom coordinates into the unknown. As they approached, a shape emerged. Alara's breath hitched. It wasn't a planet. It wasn't a ship. It was something else. Something massive. The object drifted in the void, half buried in the gravitational edge of a rogue gas giant. At first glance, it resembled an ancient monolith, smooth, black, and utterly alien. But as Halcyon scans ran deeper, more details surfaced. It wasn't stone. It was metal, and it was old. Alara's eyes widened as the data came through. This thing is over 1,000,000 years old. Hale and Dunn exchanged looks. A structure, artificial, older than human civilization itself. And yet, somehow, it was still active. Energy signatures? Dunn asked. Calyx responded immediately. Detecting faint power sources. Non-terrestrial in design. Composition unknown. Hale exhaled slowly. So we've got an alien relic drifting in the dark, actively broadcasting a message to us? Alara's mind raced. Or to anyone who would listen. A silence settled over the bridge. For a moment, the weight of the discovery was almost too much. This was the kind of thing that rewrote history, shattered old beliefs, and reshaped the course of humanity. And yet, beneath the wonder, there was something else. A creeping sense of wrongness. Like the artifact had been left here for a reason. Like it had been waiting. They sent drones first. Small, sleek reconnaissance units that slithered through the vacuum with needle-like precision. Their sensors pulsed against the artifact's surface, mapping every groove, every imperfection. Then, just as one of the drones approached a hollow section, its signal vanished. No explosion, no malfunction, just gone. Dunn stiffened. That's not good. Then the second drone vanished. Then the third. Silence swallowed the bridge. Hale's voice came low and deliberate. We're going in. Alara turned to him. You can't be serious. We just lost 3 probes. And we're not probes, Hale said. We're human. If there's intelligence in there, it might be ignoring our drones on purpose. Dunn sighed, rubbing his temples. I hate that I agree with this. 30 minutes later, they stood in the airlock, clad in full EVA suits. Alara's heart pounded. She had spent her life searching for proof that humanity wasn't alone. Now she was about to walk into it. Hale's voice cut through the comms. All right, team. Stay sharp. Stay together. And whatever happens, don't touch anything. The hatch slid open. They stepped into the dark, and the artifact welcomed them inside. The moment Alara stepped inside the artifact, reality shifted. The first thing she noticed was the absence of sound, a vacuum deeper than space itself. Even inside her EVA suit, with comms active, there was an unsettling lack of feedback. No hum of suit diagnostics. No faint breath against her helmet. Just a suffocating, oppressive stillness. The second thing she noticed was the light. Or rather, the way it moved. The chamber they entered was impossibly vast. Asterisk asterisk larger on the inside asterisk asterisk than the dimensions should have allowed. A smooth, metallic surface stretched outward in all directions, shifting under the dim glow of their helmet lamps. The light from their suits didn't behave normally. It bent, warping at strange angles, as if being subtly redirected. Dunn's voice crackled in her ear, breaking the silence. Tell me that's just a glitch in my visor. It's not, Alara whispered. Captain Hale moved cautiously ahead, his eyes scanning every inch of the space. This place is reacting to us. And he was right. The moment their boots made contact with the floor, intricate patterns flickered to life beneath them. Symbols. Language. A script older than Earth itself. Alara's heart pounded. We need a full visual record of this. As she raised her scanner, a faint pulse ran through the walls, like a heartbeat awakening after eons of sleep. Then the doors behind them sealed shut. Dunn spun. No, no, no. Damn it. He pounded a gloved fist against the smooth metal. No response. No way out. Asterisk asterisk. Then came the voice. But this time, it wasn't over their comms. It was inside their heads. You have come far, children of soul. Alara's blood turned to ice. This wasn't a recording. This wasn't an echo from the past. This was something alive. The voice was neither male nor female, neither mechanical nor organic. It was and wasn't, like a thought manifesting from the void itself. Alara clenched her fists. Who are you? A pause. Then, I am the last witness. Dunn exchanged a look with Hale. The captain's face was unreadable, but Alara saw the tension in his posture. The last witness to what? Hale asked. The light in the chamber shifted, swirling into complex holographic projections. What they saw stole their breath. A city, impossibly vast, stretching across a world with twin suns. Towers of obsidian and glass reached for the heavens, threading between rivers of light that ran like veins through the planet. It was a civilization beyond anything humanity had ever imagined. Asterisk asterisk, a world of gods and architects, asterisk asterisk. Then came the destruction. Ships unlike any seen before. Angular, predatory things descended from the sky. Beams of energy ripped through the city, reducing it to molten slag. Entire continents collapsed in on themselves, vanishing into singularities. And above it all, a shape loomed in the void. A vast, writhing mass of shadow and hunger. Not a fleet, not a machine. Something alive. Something consuming. Alara's breath came shallow. What did this? The voice whispered. The Endmakers. Dunn's eyes narrowed. You're saying something out there is eating civilizations? A long silence. Then the voice spoke again. Not anymore. The hologram shifted, showing a final image, a doomed last stand. The ancient race, broken and desperate, funneled all their knowledge into a single construct. This artifact, a vault, a warning, a message in a bottle for the next species to find it. Hale clenched his jaw. And you're the last witness. The last fragment of this civilization's mind. Yes. Alara swallowed hard. If the Endmakers were wiping out species, what stopped them? The voice hesitated. Then, with a quiet finality, it answered. They found what they were looking for. Alara's stomach dropped. And what was that? Another silence. Then the chamber began to shake. The holograms flickered, warping like a corrupted transmission. Something was wrong. Then the voice whispered, urgently this time. They are listening. A high-pitched screech filled their helmets. Alara clutched her head, pain lancing through her skull. Shut it off. Dunn roared. But it wasn't the artifact making the noise. It was coming from outside. The Halcyon's alarms blared through their comms. Captain, you need to get back to the ship now. Hale's face darkened. What's happening? Massive gravitational disturbance. Something is coming out of slip space. Asterisk asterisk. The signal cut out. And outside the artifact, space began to fold. Alara's heart slammed against her ribs. She knew what this was. A rupture. A distortion in the very fabric of reality. Something was emerging. Move. Hale barked. They bolted through the chamber, retracing their steps. The patterns on the walls pulsed violently now, as if the artifact itself was screaming in warning. They reached the airlock. The doors hissed open, just in time to see the Halcyon's exterior lights flicker. Then they saw it. A shape forming just beyond the ship. Not a vessel. Not a fleet. A black void, twisting against the stars, folding in and out of existence. A presence older than planets, older than light itself. The last thing Alara heard before the artifact tore itself apart was the whisper of the last witness. Run. Then the universe collapsed around them. Got it. Here's the next part of your sci-fi epic, keeping the tension high and driving the story forward. We're still on track for 30,000, 40,000 characters, and I'll continue expanding it. Time unraveled. Alara felt herself torn between seconds, her body weightless yet crushed, her mind splintering between now and never. A sensation beyond pain, beyond physics, beyond anything human gripped her as the artifact imploded, folding in on itself like a dying star. Her helmet display flickered violently. Her vitals spiked. Somewhere in the chaos, she heard Hale yelling orders, done cursing, the AI Calyx screaming something about a ***spacetime breach ***. And then, a snap, as if the universe itself had slammed shut. Alara hit the ground hard, the impact rattling through her bones. Her helmet visor dimmed automatically, shielding her eyes from the glaring white light. She gasped, lungs burning, her entire body trembling as she forced herself up. She wasn't dead. At least, she didn't think she was. The others groaned beside her. Dunn was on his knees, clutching his head. Hale rolled onto his side, exhaling sharply. Their EVA suits remained intact, but the bio-readouts on her wrist screen flashed wildly unstable. Alara's gaze lifted, and her heart stopped. They were no longer inside the artifact. They were no longer in space. A sprawling, alien landscape stretched before them, an impossible horizon of shifting black stone and liquid light. Towering monoliths twisted toward an empty sky, their surfaces rippling as if alive. Above them, there were no stars, only a vast, dark expanse punctuated by swirling, unnatural shapes, as though something huge pressed against the fabric of reality itself. Dunn staggered to his feet. Where the hell are we? Hale's hand went to his sidearm, but he didn't draw it. What good would a gun do in a place like this? Alara's fingers tightened into fists. This isn't a planet. It wasn't. The gravity was wrong, too light, too unstable. The air, though breathable, carried an eerie stillness, too silent to be natural. This place wasn't a world. It was a prison. A whisper brushed against Alara's mind. Not words. Memories, flashes of the past, flickering through her skull in violent bursts. She saw ruins. Endless, crumbling cities, once grand, now hollowed by time. Echoes of 1,000 dead civilizations. And then, a presence. Something watching them. Hale must have felt it too. His grip on his weapon tightened. We're not alone. A shadow moved in the distance. A figure. Tall. Wrong. Twisting in ways the human brain wasn't built to process. Dunn inhaled sharply. That's not possible. The figure stepped closer. A shimmer of something ancient, something broken. Alara took a step back. Her instincts screamed at her to run, but something in her gut told her. This wasn't an enemy. The figure spoke, though its mouth never moved. You should not have come. The voice wasn't sound. It was a thought, raw and unfiltered, pressed directly into her mind. Hale's jaw clenched. What is this place? The figure didn't answer. Instead, it raised a hand, its fingers long and delicate, curling like wisps of shadow. The space around them shifted. The monoliths trembled. The liquid light rippled. And then, the sky itself screamed. A shape, vast and terrifying, stirred above them. Not a ship, not a being, a remnant, a piece of something that should have never existed, something the lost civilizations had fought to erase, something the Endmakers left behind. The figure turned its hollow gaze toward Alara. If you value your existence, you will leave. Now. Alara's pulse hammered. How? For the first time, the figure hesitated. Its form flickered, as if deciding whether to answer. Then, finally, wake up. Alara's eyes snapped open. She was back on the Halcyon's bridge, her body convulsing against the safety harness. Red emergency lights flashed wildly around her. Alarms blared. The ship lurched, violently shaking as if caught in a gravity storm. Dunn's voice rang in her ear. We're back. We're back. What the hell just happened? Hale gasped, still disoriented. His hand gripped the armrest of his chair, so tightly his knuckles were white. Status report. Calyx's voice cut through the chaos, its usually calm tone laced with urgency. The artifact is gone. Space-time integrity is stabilizing. But Captain, a warning chime screeched through the ship. We are not alone. Alara's head snapped toward the viewport, and there it was. A black shape, vast and consuming, looming just beyond the Halcyon's bow. Not a ship, not a fleet, a wound in reality itself. Something had followed them back, and it was hungry. Hale's voice rang out, sharp and commanding. Engines to full. Now. The Halcyon's thrusters roared to life, but the darkness moved faster. It folded inward, space bending around it like a vortex. The ship lurched, metal groaning as it was dragged toward the void. Alara's fingers flew across the console. We need a gravity pulse, something to break its hold on us. Done cursed. Even if we do, where the hell do we go? We have no idea what this thing is. We don't need to know, Hale growled. We just need to survive. Then Alara saw it. The artifact hadn't been a prison. It had been a lock, and they had just broken it open. Got it. Here's the next part of your sci-fi epic, pushing the tension higher while keeping the mystery, action, and stakes escalating. We're still aiming for 30,000, 40,000 characters, and I'll keep expanding the story. The ship screamed. Metal groaned under impossible forces as the Halcyon fought against the pull of the void. Lights flickered wildly across the bridge, and Alara felt the gravity distort around her, warping the space-time fabric in erratic bursts. The thing outside was not just an object. It was a force, a presence that didn't belong in their universe, something old, vast, and beyond human comprehension. It was neither solid nor ethereal, shifting between form and formlessness, existing on several planes at once. It was watching them. Hale gritted his teeth, gripping the armrest of his chair. Done. What's our thrust power? Dunn's fingers flew across the controls. We're running at 110% capacity, but it's like we're pushing against an ocean made of stone. It's bending gravity around us, holding us in place. Alara's mind raced. They had seen this place. The dead civilizations, the ruins, the remnants of something vast and unfinished. And now they were trapped inside it. She clenched her fists, forcing her breathing to steady. Think. Asterisk. This thing doesn't just pull, she muttered. It distorts. Hale snapped toward her. Meaning? If it's bending space, that means it's anchored to something. It's not just pulling us in. It's locking us into its field. Dunn frowned. And? Alara's pulse pounded. And if we can disrupt that field, we break free. A beat of silence. Then Hale barked. Calyx, give me a scan of the distortion points. The AI responded immediately. Locating gravitational anchors. Processing. One confirmed. Coordinates locked. A target appeared on the tactical display. A shifting mass of black tendrils that extended from the anomaly, coiling around invisible points in space. Dunn's eyes widened. That's it? That's what's keeping us here? Alara nodded, her brain moving a mile a second. If we disrupt that anchor, the whole field collapses. Hale wasted no time. Charge the rail cannons. Target the anomaly. Dunn's hands moved swiftly, loading gravitational rounds. Firing in 5, 4, 3. The darkness outside moved. Not a reaction. An anticipation. Before they could fire, the entity shifted. Its tendrils expanding, splitting apart like fractured dimensions. Then the ship wasn't inside normal space anymore. Alara felt herself rip away from existence. One moment, she was on the Halcyon. Then suddenly, she was somewhere else. No ship, no crew, just herself, suspended in an infinite void of broken, unfinished worlds. Fragments of civilizations, hanging in the dark, shattered planets, lost starships, relics of 1,000 unknown histories. She wasn't alone. A presence loomed over her, vast and insurmountable. It wasn't watching her. It was examining her. A test, a judgment, a calculation. Asterisk. Then, a whisper slithered into her thoughts. What are you? Alara's voice caught in her throat. She tried to move, tried to speak. Nothing. Her body didn't exist. She was thought, consciousness, a fragment of her own mind, dissected and studied by something incomprehensible. You are not the ones we seek. The void around her shifted, memories flashing past her eyes. The artifact, the ancient cities, the final battle of a species long gone. And then she saw them. The Endmakers. Vast things. Architects of destruction. They did not conquer. They unmade. They did not rule. They erased. And they had been looking for something. For who? For what? The whisper came again. You are not the ones. But you have called us. Alara's mind recoiled. No, she tried to say. We didn't mean. Too late. The darkness folded, and then she was back on the Halcyon. Her body slammed back into the seat. Air rushed into her lungs, her senses returning in a violent flood. The alarm still blared. The ship still shook. The gravitational rounds had fired. The anchor was gone. We're free. Dunn shouted. Breaking away now. The Halcyon roared forward, tearing itself from the anomaly's grasp. The thing behind them twisted. No longer static, no longer waiting. It had recognized them now. It had seen them, and it was no longer content to let them go. A pulse rippled through space, something deeper than sound, older than time. A shockwave of pure erasure, sweeping toward them. Alara felt it in her bones. The same force that had erased those cities, those worlds. And it was coming for them. Hale's voice rang out. Calyx, initiate emergency jump now. Calculating jump trajectory. Stand by. There is no time. Hale roared. The void collapsed inward. The tendrils reaching for them. The ship fighting against time itself. And then, a blinding flash. Silence. Stillness. Alara gasped awake, her chest heaving. They were alive. She looked around the bridge. Everyone was here. The Halcyon floated in open space, its systems struggling to reboot. The void was gone. The anomaly was gone. Hale exhaled, rubbing a hand down his face. Report. Calyx's voice crackled through the speakers. We have re-entered known space. Damage minimal. No anomalies detected. Dunn slumped back in his seat, breathless. We made it. Alara wasn't so sure. Something about the silence felt wrong, as if the universe itself was holding its breath. Then, quietly, she whispered, Check long-range scans. Calyx hesitated. Then, Captain, I am detecting multiple incoming objects at FTL speeds. Hale's expression darkened. From where? A pause. Everywhere. The words settled like lead. Dunn's face paled. Oh, hell. Alara's hands tightened into fists. They hadn't just escaped. They had opened the door. And something was coming through. Got it. I'll continue expanding the story, pushing the tension higher and unraveling the consequences of what the crew has unleashed. We're still on track for 40,000 characters, and I'll make sure every moment counts. The stars were wrong. Alara Voss stared at the tactical display, her fingers hovering over the console. The Halcyon's long-range sensors had finished sweeping the surrounding space, but the readings didn't make sense. The constellations had shifted, not by centuries, not by millennia, by something far, far worse. Commander Eric Dunn was the first to speak. Tell me I'm reading this wrong. Calyx's voice crackled through the bridge, static lacing the artificial intelligence's words. Negative. Stellar displacement confirmed. We have exited the anomaly in an uncharted region of space. Exact location unknown. Alara exhaled slowly. Her stomach twisted. Unknown. Hale's voice came low and sharp. We didn't just escape, did we? Alara swallowed hard. No. They had been relocated. Thrown somewhere else, not just across space, but possibly across time. And then came the next warning. Multiple contacts approaching. Asterisk asterisk. The bridge fell silent. Hale straightened. Identify. Calyx hesitated. Then, with a voice just slightly too human, it whispered. They are not human. Alara's pulse hammered. Here they come. The first ship dropped out of FTL like a stone falling into deep water. Asterisk asterisk sleek, predatory, and utterly alien. Asterisk asterisk. Then the second. Then the third. By the time the scanners caught up, there were 7 of them. Dark, angular vessels, shaped like blades against the void. No markings. No insignia. But Alara knew. They had been followed. Dunn cursed under his breath. Those aren't Endmakers. No, Hale said grimly. There's something else. Alara's fingers twitched against the console. They're scouts. And scouts only meant one thing. A much bigger force was coming. The lead ship shifted, its hull unfolding like an insect's exoskeleton. A deep, reverberating pulse emanated from its structure, vibrating through the Halcyon's decks. Dunn's hands flew over his controls. They're scanning us. A voice cut through the comms. Not in words, not in sound. A presence. A demand. Asterisk asterisk. You have seen what is forbidden. Alara's throat clenched. The enemy wasn't just attacking blindly. They knew. They knew about the artifact. And that meant one thing. They weren't here to negotiate. Hale didn't hesitate. Shields up. Prepare for evasive. A shockwave ripped through the ship. Not a weapon. A warning. The lead vessel pulsed again, and a new message invaded their thoughts. You have broken the seal. You will answer. The ships moved in unison, surrounding the Halcyon with surgical precision. Dunn exhaled sharply. They're going to board us. Hale's expression was unreadable. Like hell they are. Alara clenched her fists. Think. Think. Asterisk asterisk. They couldn't outrun them. The FTL drives were still recalibrating. Their weapons were outmatched. If they fought, they'd be obliterated. But then a thought surfaced. Alara turned sharply. What if we don't run? Hale frowned. Explain. She inhaled deeply. They want answers. That means they need us alive. So we give them something else to worry about. Dunn's eyes narrowed. Like what? Alara's voice was steady. We wake it up. Silence. Then Hale's expression hardened. You're saying we trigger the anomaly. Alara nodded. We didn't just break the seal. We let something loose. And if these things are afraid of it, then it's the only leverage we have. Dunn's face paled. That's insane. Alara's lips pressed together. So is dying. Hale exhaled sharply. Then, after a long pause, he nodded. Do it. Alara's hands moved fast. The Halcyon's deep-range transmitters were still functional. And if her calculations were correct, the anomaly was still there, lingering just beyond the edges of reality. Waiting. She entered the frequency, and then she spoke into the void. You are not forgotten. The bridge lights dimmed. The walls groaned. And outside, the stars screamed. The alien ships jerked back, their formations breaking. Dunn's breath caught. What the hell? A hole tore itself open in space. Not a rift. Not a gateway. A wound. And from the darkness came the answer. It wasn't a fleet. It wasn't an army. It was something older. Something waiting. The lead alien ship shuddered, its hull rippling like a living thing. The other ships tried to retreat, but it was too late. A pulse of raw oblivion erupted from the wound. Asterisk asterisk, not an attack, but a correction. Asterisk asterisk. A force dragging everything back to where it belonged. The first ship vanished. Not destroyed. Not shattered. Simply erased. The others fled. The anomaly's presence lingered, a patient, infinite hunger. But it did not take the Halcyon. Not yet. And Alara felt it. A whisper. A thought. A final warning. Do not return. And then, the wound closed. The void was empty once more. Hale's voice came rough. Report. Calix's response was quiet. All hostiles have fled. No anomalies detected. Dunn exhaled a breath he hadn't realized he was holding. We're still alive. Alara slowly leaned back in her seat. The weight of what they had done settled on her chest. They had won. But at what cost? Hale turned to her, his voice quieter. What did you hear? Alara hesitated. Then, finally, she answered. A warning. Hale nodded, as if he had expected that. He turned toward the view screen, where the darkness stretched endlessly ahead. Let's go home. The Halcyon's engines flared to life, propelling them forward, away from the anomaly, away from the battle. But Alara knew. The seal had been broken, and something had woken up, something that would never sleep again. The Halcyon escaped, but in the far reaches of space, beyond the charts of human understanding, the fabric of reality had been torn open, and across the void, something was listening. Got it. I will now write the final chapter, making it intense, meaningful, and unforgettable, while staying logically consistent with everything that has happened. This will be the perfect conclusion to your sci-fi epic. Get ready. Rocket. Alara Voss had seen the impossible. She had touched the mind of an ancient intelligence, had glimpsed civilizations erased by an enemy that did not conquer, only unmade. She had heard the warning, do not return. And yet, as the Halcyon hurtled through the void, putting light years between them and the anomaly, something felt wrong. The war was not over, because the war had never ended. The Endmakers had not been defeated. They had simply finished their purpose. And if they had wiped out entire civilizations in the past, what had they been searching for? It began 3 days after the escape. At first, it was small glitches, data corruption in the ship's logs, missing records. Then, strange sensor echoes, as if something was following them, but never appearing on visuals. Then came the dreams. Alara wasn't the only one. The crew began waking up screaming, speaking in languages they had never learned, whispering about things no human should know. On the 4th day, Captain Hale ordered a ship-wide lockdown. Something followed us, he said grimly. Alara felt it too. The Halcyon was not alone. Calix's voice crackled through the bridge, its usual precision tainted by static. Captain, there is an incoming transmission. Dunn frowned. From where? A pause. Then, from Earth. Alara's stomach dropped. That wasn't possible. Earth was light years away, and their comms weren't pointed toward the Sol system. Hale's jaw tightened. Put it through. A burst of distorted audio filled the bridge. Static. Whispering. Then, a voice. You are not alone. Alara's blood ran cold. The same message they had first heard. But now, it was coming from their home. The transmission lasted exactly 47 seconds. When it ended, the ship's long-range scans updated automatically. And then, the bridge fell silent. Alara's hand trembled over her console. That's not right. Dunn's face was pale. That's not possible. But the numbers didn't lie. Earth was gone. Not destroyed. Not invaded. It was missing. Where the Sol system should have been, there was only empty space. The Halcyon had been gone for 12 days. And in those 12 days, humanity had vanished. Alara felt her chest tighten. She remembered the artifact, the visions. The war that had ended before humanity was even born. She had assumed the Endmakers had been searching for a target. She had assumed they had been wiping out civilizations for power, or conquest, or survival. But what if she was wrong? What if the Endmakers weren't searching for a who, but a when? Her mind reeled. The artifact hadn't been a warning about a future attack. It had been a message left in the past. The Endmakers hadn't erased those ancient species to conquer them. They had erased them because they were never supposed to exist. And now, Earth had joined them. Hale's voice was quiet. We broke the seal. Dunn looked sick. We led them right back to humanity. Alara's hands curled into fists. No. There had to be a way. She turned to the others, fire in her eyes. If the Endmakers erased Earth, then Earth still exists somewhere. Dunn exhaled sharply. You're talking about time travel? Alara nodded. We triggered the anomaly once. We can do it again. Hale's expression was unreadable. And if we fail? Alara's jaw tightened. Then we accept that we killed our species and fly this ship into a dying universe. A silence fell over the bridge. Then Hale smirked. Hell of a last mission. He turned to the crew. All hands. Prepare for a jump into the unknown. The Halcyon pivoted, engines burning bright. And as they tore toward the remnants of the anomaly, Alara whispered a silent promise. We will bring you back. We will not be forgotten. Captain's log, ISS Halcyon. Date, unknown. Location, unknown. If anyone hears this, know that we tried. Earth is gone. Not destroyed, erased. But we believe it can be restored. We are the last humans left. We are heading back to the anomaly, to find the moment it all ended. And undo it. If we fail, let this message be our last echo. To whoever comes next, don't make the same mistake we did. Don't open the door. Captain Idris Hale, ISS Halcyon. In the vast silence of space, the Halcyon disappeared into the anomaly. Time twisted, reality bent, and then there was nothing. For centuries, no trace of the ship remained. Until, one day, in the ruins of an ancient, dead civilization, a transmission was found. A voice from the past. A whisper. You are not alone. This is a true ending, but it leaves just enough mystery for future expansion if you ever want a sequel. The themes of time, consequence, and the fragility of existence all come full circle, making this an impactful and haunting conclusion.